Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. Guys, by now you must have submitted your undergraduate MEXT 2026 application to the Japanese embassy or the consulate in your respective countries. And you must be now preparing your best for the upcoming written test, isn't it? So today in this video, I'm going to tell you something about this written test. That is for the undergraduate applicants. How to crack the written tests. So in this video, taking example from a question paper of 2020 MEXT screening for the subjects of physics and mathematics, I will give you an idea about how to tackle unseen problems in these written tests. So, how to crack written tests explained through physics and maths questions from MEXT 2020 test. So let's begin. So this is the section 9 from the application guidelines of MEXT 2026, where it is mentioned that the Japanese diplomatic missions means the embassy and the consulates. They will conduct the first screening of applicants through examination of submitted application documents, written academic examinations, and interviews. So the first step you have already done, the application documents. This is the second stage. We are talking about written academic examinations. If you qualify in this, then there will be interviews. Generally, candidates who pass these written examinations, most of them get the interview calls. So, okay, so for the time being, let's forget about the interviews. Let's focus on the written academic examinations. So this is for undergraduate. So depending on the chosen field of study, there will be the subjects applicable for your written test. For social sciences and humanities, the subjects of written tests will be Japanese, English, and mathematics. For natural sciences A, it will be Japanese, English, mathematics, chemistry, and physics. And for natural sciences B, it will be Japanese, English, mathematics, chemistry, and biology. So there won't be any physics in natural sciences B, and there won't be any biology in natural sciences A. So that is the only difference. Otherwise, rest all subjects are common. So regarding Japanese and English, we have already spoken at length. So we have discussed about the English questions as well. So it's the same question that are asked for the research written test. So it's similar in the structure. So English, we don't have to explain. You can go through that video whose link I am giving in the description section of this video as well. And same goes with Japanese. So we have discussed at length about how you should tackle the Japanese test. So I will post the links to both of these videos in the description section of this video from where you can easily access them. So in today's video, we will discuss about these subjective tests, that is mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. So before we go into that, calculators and other devices may not be used during the written examinations. And remember that each of these subject tests will be of 1 hour duration. That is 1 hour for Japanese, 1 hour for English, 1 hour for mathematics, 1 hour for physics, and likewise for chemistry and biology. So every test will be 60-minute test. So questions will test your conceptual skills only. So this means the questions that you will receive in all these subjective tests, those will not be testing your memory, how much you know, how much memory you have. So the questions will not require your memorizing skills, and nor it will have any rigorous calculations. That's the reason why calculators are not required in for this test. So the calculations will be very simple one which you can do on your own. So what does this mean? That means the questions will be more of conceptual kind of thing. If your concepts are clear, if you have a solid base, you have a solid foundation of the concepts, you have clear understanding of the fundamentals, then the test will be very easy for you. So you need not worry at all. So you will be able to answer most of the questions if you have very clean and clear concepts about the topics. Whether you can apply and extend the fundamental concepts to solve practical problems. So this will be tested in these written tests. So the questions, although they will be very fundamental in nature, but the question will be in the form of some applied things. That means the underlying concepts will be the fundamental ones, but the problems may look from outside, it may look that these are some practical problems, but the solution will be very simple. Questions won't be complicated, questions won't be difficult, but definitely the questions will be tricky and they may puzzle you. But again, if your base is solid, if you know the concepts, then you will definitely be able to answer them. Students who usually memorize and obtain marks in exams through memorizing skills won't be able to perform well at all. So this is the warning bell. So if you are more into memorizing stuff and getting very good marks in class 10, class 11, class 12, just remember that you won't be able to perform well in this test because there is nothing to memorize in these written tests. So it will be all conceptual questions. So having said all these, now you might be wondering, like, you might be anxious, you might be curious to know what kind of questions will be asked. So we have selected two questions, one from the physics paper of 2020 and one from the mathematics paper of 2020. Why 2020? Because that is the latest year of MEXT screening test whose question paper has been shared with the public by MEXT. So otherwise from 2021 onwards, they have not shared the question paper. So we don't have any question paper from 2021 onwards. We have from 2014 to 2020. So that's why I have selected from the latest one. So let's see. So this question is from the physics paper of MEXT 2020 application. So you might be panicking by seeing this question, that what this question is all about. So this question says three blocks with masses of m, 2m and 3m are connected and pulled to the right on a horizontal frictionless table by a force with magnitude F. Find the magnitudes of the tensions T1 and T2 in the interconnecting cords. So now for an average student, I am talking about an average student, this question might appear to be very difficult to solve. So this is the starting point. It appears to be a long question and there are 6 options given. So it appears to be very difficult. But believe me, it's one of the most simple problems that I have ever seen in an examination like this, in a competitive examination like this. So the main strategy here should be to go to the basics, because everything, as I said earlier, that they are testing your concepts, how clear you are in your concept. So there is nothing to memorize here. So now let's start from scratch, or start from the very fundamentals. So what we have in this question, so let's keep the question uh, on the left side of this window so that we can refer whenever we require it while solving this problem. So we have 3 blocks of masses. That means first one is the mass. You have mass connected and pulled to the right with on a horizontal frictionless table. So there is no friction. That means it has made our life simpler. So as I said, they are not going to complicate the questions. That's why they have assumed a frictionless table. This is one thing. So these 3 masses are pulled towards the right by a force with magnitude of F. So we have motion, since something is being pulled. So there is mass, there is motion, and there is force. Okay. So these 3 things we have. Then what else we have? we have tension. So what is tension basically? So this is just to confuse you, tension is nothing but force only. So tension is a word that can be used for this particular type of force when something is being pulled or there is a string which is pulling something, so that string undergoes tension or stress. So technically tension is nothing but force. So T1, T2, F all have the same dimensions and the same unit. And what is the unit of force? That is Newton. So mass, motion, force, these three things we have in this question. Now if we go to the basics, how can we relate mass, motion and force together? What is that fundamental law? Can you tell me what is that fundamental law? The law is Newton's second law of motion, where there is force, there is mass, there is motion, and another thing is also there, which is acceleration. Because according to Newton's second law of motion, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Acceleration is nothing but rate of change of speed. So now what happens here? We have three masses, three different masses, m, 2m, 3m. Then we have three forces, T1, T2 and F. So these are all different values. Now what is common? Common is acceleration. Acceleration is A everywhere. Why? Because the three objects are being pulled which are tied together. So all these will be moving with the same speed and the acceleration will be same for all the three components. So this is exactly similar to a railway train. You can imagine. So this first one is the engine and then there are 10 to 15 bogies. All the entire train is moving at the same speed and it is having the same acceleration because they are all connected together. So there cannot be a different acceleration for different bogies or the engine, right? This you can very well understand. So in that train, the masses of each bogie may be different depending on the number of passengers on the train. So it may vary. The acceleration is the same and the tension between the two bodies, because there is one connection between the two bogies of the train. So these will vary because of the difference in masses, but the overall acceleration will remain the same. So this is our starting point to solve this problem. Since we know that acceleration is the same, so if we find the acceleration, then we should be able to find the these forces because mass is known, isn't it? M, 2m, 3m is known. If we can find the overall acceleration, which will be the individual accelerations as well, so in that way both mass and acceleration will be known and we shall be able to find T1 and T2 which are required to be found. So the question is find the magnitudes of the tensions T1 and T2 in the interconnecting cords. So now using Newton's second law of motion, net force is equal to net mass into acceleration. So net force is F because this is the overall force that is being used to pull this entire thing. So net force is F and which is the net mass into the net acceleration. So F is equal to m plus 2m plus 3m. This is the total mass multiplied by, suppose A is assumed to be the acceleration. So 6ma is the overall force F. Now, if you look at the options, the answers will be in F. That means F, we don't have to replace F by anything else because the answer will be with regard to F only. So F is fine. F is equal to 6ma. From this we can find the acceleration as F by 6m. Since A is unknown quantity in this question, there is no mention of A anywhere. This only we have only assumed this, but F and M, these are known quantities as they have mentioned in the question, M, 2m, 3m and F. So these are known values. So the answer can be expressed in terms of F and M because these have been already given in the question. So the overall acceleration, the entire acceleration is F by 6m. So now let's move on to the Next part, we have to find out T1 and T2. So now what is T1? T1 is the tension between the block with mass m and the block with mass 2m. So it is the horizontal force. T1 is the horizontal force. It is acting only on the mass m because the entire system is being pulled towards the right side and there is no friction on this surface. This has been very specifically mentioned. There is no friction. That means the force that is being exerted here is only to overcome the T1 is the force which is used to overcome this mass m only. So it is not getting impacted by 2m or this 3m because this is on the right hand side. So only the object that is on the left side of that force will be applicable because the system is being pulled towards the right. So this means T1 will be equal to the mass m multiplied by the overall acceleration because acceleration remains the same everywhere because all are being pulled together. So T1 is equal to ma. Now in place of a we can substitute using the value of a that we found, which is f by 6m. So m multiplied by f by 6m, which is f by 6. So T1 is f by 6. Now look at the options here. Do we find any option which is f by 6? This is not here. The option D, T1 is equal to 1 by 6f. So this is what we also got. But now we have to find out T2 to be very sure that we get 1 by 2f for T2. So now next is tension T2. So if T1 is the tension that represents the horizontal force acting on the leftmost block of mass m, then what is T2? T2 is the tension between this 2m and 3m, but it is the force that acts on the two blocks left to it. That means m and 2m. So the mass that will be applicable for T2 will be m plus 2m, which is 3m. So this is not this 3m, but it is the summation of this m and 2m by which it becomes 3m. So T2 is basically m plus 2m because it has to pull both of these. So m plus 2m multiplied by the acceleration. So now m plus 2m is 3m and a is f by 6m from this. So it is 3m into f by 6m. So m gets cancelled, 3 and 6 we have 2. So answer is f by 2. See, f by 2. So that means the option D is the correct answer because we have also got these values and rest of the options are totally different, so it's not the same. So now what do you think about this question, friends? Is it really very difficult? So before we attack this question, attack this problem or try to solve this problem, it was appearing to be bit difficult. It was appearing to be tricky and it was like it like we it was a long question. It's like it's such a big question, so any student may get afraid of such type of things. But as I mentioned, if you start from the very grassroots level, because see, masses are given, forces are given, so how do you associate mass with force? By Newton's second law only. So if you start from that point, then definitely step by step you can deduce what has been asked in the question. So this again reiterates the point that you need concept clearance to answer questions in the next written exam. So nothing has to be memorized. If you know the fundamentals, then you will be very easily able to solve most of the questions. I don't say that you will be able to answer all the questions, but most of the questions. And since you are already at that stage, I have passed long time back, so I am out of touch, but you are currently in class 11, 12, so you are very young and you are already into this system of studies, so you know better than me all these concepts. So this is only one question from motion. There can be questions from the heat, from light, from gravitation, from electricity, from states of matter, anywhere, from atoms and molecules, anywhere questions may come. But for everything, it's the same thing. It's the same idea. It's the same strategy. So if you don't know the answer to that question, always begin from the fundamentals. Always try to locate or try to start from the very root of the concepts, and then you develop it step by step. In that way you will be able to reach to the answer. And if you already know the answer, if it is a common question for you, then it is well and good, so you can directly proceed with the answers or solution. But in case you do not know the answer, then do it as I said, that you start from the very fundamental laws of physics and then start developing on that idea. Now let's move on to the mathematics paper of 2020 MEXT written exam undergraduate, and let's look at a question. So friends, I have taken a question from trigonometry because trigonometry was my and also still my favorite topic of mathematics. So this question, it appeared in 2020. The question is, when we set t is equal to cos x for a function fx equal to cos twice x plus cos thrice x, then fx has an expression in t as follows. That means you are given this function, this trigonometric function, and it is mentioned that t is equal to cos x. And then you have been asked to express fx in terms of t. So now they have given this expression and they have put some blanks. That means the coefficients of this t cube, t square, t, and this t to the power 0, this you have to find out. So how will you do that? So again, looking at this question, it appears to be a very difficult question. So now let's again start from the basics. So first, what is given? Fx is equal to cos 2x plus cos 3x. Now, as it has been said, set t as cos x. So we want to express fx in terms of a polynomial expression using variable t, and t is equal to cos x. So it is already given. So either we let t is equal to cos x, or we can write given t is equal to cos x. So now how to solve this one? Now, since t has powers of 0, 1, 2, and 3, we need to think how cos 2x and cos 3x will be expressed in terms of t cube, t square, t. So t cube means what? Cos cube x. This is cos square x. This is cos x. And this is 0, or cos 0 you can say. So t becomes 0 here. So how to express these linear into these polynomial forms? So now for this, you have to go back to the theorems of trigonometry. So that for that purpose, you will need to have this kind of understanding. So we have these two postulates or theories, that cos twice x is equal to twice of cos square x minus 1, and cos thrice x is equal to 4 times the cos cube x minus thrice cos x. So these are fundamental equations or expressions that we know, because when you study trigonometry, then you come across this cos twice x and cos thrice x formula. So this you have to remember, and this generally most of the students who have just passed out higher secondary, they already knowing it, because this is a very basic and very important relations that are used to solve this kind of problems. So now, having said this, if we now replace the function fx, so fx is cos twice x plus cos thrice x, And now you substitute the values of cos twice x and cos thrice x from these fundamental equations into this. So twice cos square x minus 1 plus 4 cos cube x minus 3 cos x. Just substitute these values and then just rearrange it. So now what is cos square x? Cos square x is nothing but t square because t is cos x. Similarly, cos thrice x is 4 cos cube x minus 3 cos x. So it is 4t cube minus thrice t. So it is 2t square minus 1 plus 4t cube minus 3t. So just rearrange in terms of the decreasing values of this power. So 4t3, 4t cube plus 2t square minus 3t minus 1. That means the values here will be 4, here it will be 2, here it will be minus 1, and here it will be here it will be minus 3, and this is minus 1. So this is the answer. So the answer to this question is 4, 2, minus 3 and minus 1. These values you will have to put there. So in the question paper there was no multiple choices for this. It was a question that needs to be solved. So you can solve it in this manner. So although this is a conceptual problem, but these two equations, if you do not remember these two equations, then it will be really difficult for you to solve. But this is not something related to memorizing, because this is a very fundamental relation which everyone must be having uh, remembering by heart, because this is a as I said, this is a very fundamental equation to relate cos twice x with cos square x and cos thrice x with cos cube x. So this is something we do as a fundamental theory in trigonometry. So we have to apply this concept. So in this way we can solve the problem. So this is just one example from the math paper. So there will be many questions in the sense according to the 60-minute schedule. So there will not be many questions. Only the number of questions will be such that you can answer all of them in 60 minutes time. So in this way you can tackle the problems. Now you can practice because you have questions for 7 years from 2014 to 2020. So you can try solving those papers for physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology. If you have any difficulties in solving the physics or mathematics paper questions, you can write to me. I will be able to solve those questions for you. My email ID is saraljapani@gmail.com. SARALJAPANI at gmail.com. So on that email, you can send me any problem of physics or mathematics which you are unable to solve, and I can help you out. But for chemistry and biology, as I am not in touch with these subjects for long, so I may not be able to help you out. Especially biology, I will not be help you. Chemistry still I can try, but physics and mathematics should be fine. So if you have any doubts in any question from these papers or any other book, you can always send to me on the email. I will send you the solution. So having said that, now let's one more time summarize. So you don't have to memorize anything. They will be testing your concepts and your foundation, and whether you are able to apply those concepts in the practical problem solving or not. Questions will not be difficult, they will be tricky, like the two questions we just discussed. And don't go into memorizing, and if you have been a memorizing student, then I'm sorry to say you won't be able to perform the way it is required in this test to get the scholarship. So you have to change your habit if that is the case, and focus on strengthening your fundamentals and concepts. So with that, I come to an end to this video, and there is still some time. Do practice and also learn some Japanese as well. You can use the playlist on this YouTube channel named as Japanese Lessons for Beginners, and start watching from lesson 1, which is the zero level. That is the beginning for the beginners. And if you want to learn in Hindi. That is also possible on this channel. सीखें जापानी हिंदी में is the corresponding corresponding playlist, the same lessons but imparted in Hindi. So either of these playlists you can follow, and whatever time is left you can learn a little Japanese, because you may not be able to answer questions in the Japanese written test, but if you get selected based on your other subjects written test, then at least in the interview you will be able to tell that you have started learning Japanese and so far you have learned these things. So that will have a very positive impact on the selection committee and you might get the scholarship. So from that point of view, it is very important to learn Japanese. You need not worry about how much you could learn in these few days, but the important thing is that you have started learning Japanese. So friends, with this I end this video and thank you so much for watching this video. Do subscribe to this channel if you have not done so far, so that whenever I upload a new video, you instantly get the notification. And in the coming time, I am going to post lots of videos related to Japan and Japanese scholarships and admissions to universities. So thank you for watching. Arigato gozaimasu. Mata imasho.